morning, evening, day or night, Canada's the kind, ladies and gentlemen, who quest or troll the wonderful land of YouTube. My name is Jolombo.
And my name is MetalofH.
And we're here with another top 12. Yay! Or should I say, ooh, because it's top 12 scary creepypastas. Not scariest, but scary creepypastas.
Really? Oh.
Yeah.
I thought, favorite.
So, how did we decide our favorite creepypastas? Well, they're the creepypastas that kind of stick with you, or that have like a good ending that make you think about, that's good. Or it like gives you stupid details that make you think like, what the fuck, why should we know that? And then in the end they become important. So, well written creepypastas are kind of important. Yeah. It should be a little bit scary, we had that in there. Not all of them are scary. And one of them was totally not really scary, and that's why I made it an honorable mention that I can say now. They're everywhere. That's an honorable mention for me, because it started out being creepy. It started out about a man at the shrink's office that was like, he was describing like demons with like long claws, and had like a black leathery skin, and had like big red eyes, but like multiple eyes. Then at the end, the psychiatrist said, spoilers. He didn't say spoilers, he wasn't River Song from Doctor Who, but hey. He said, and this is a spoiler, this guy had a phobia, which was the phobia of flies, so he was scared of flies. Yeah, so the demons he was saying that were infecting people with disease were actually flies. Without further ado, let's get to the doo-doo.
On the number 12 spot, I have placed the angel statue. I know what you're thinking, and no, it's not about a weeping angel. Probably.
Looks like one.
I think the babysitter was a woman, I'm not sure. Okay? So she was babysitting someone, and like after it was time for the kid to go to sleep, got put to bed, she was watching television, and then she looked outside, and there was like a creepy angel statue, and she couldn't ignore it because it seemed like it was staring right at her.
Yeah, if it was.
So she called the parents of the kid she was babysitting, and spoilers. She says like, "Hey, this angel statue is fucking creepy." No, it's not an exact quote, okay?
Yes, it is.
So, the statue is fucking creepy. Is it okay if I cover it up? And then, like, the dad of the kid she's babysitting is like, oh, we don't own an angel statue.
Mind blown.
It's extremely cliche, but I like it.
At my number 12 spot you can find some of the Pokemon creepypastas, because I bundled them for reasons. The most important one being Lavender Town Syndrome one. I think it was a cool one because most of these game related ones are about like obscure unique games that were like possessed by the ghosts of I don't know, children that died for some reason. But these were officially released cartridges. And it was just the music that drove people to kill themselves. Yeah, that's what makes it cool. And then you have like another one like Follow Me, where they also found children that committed suicide, but then, well, they noticed it wasn't because of the Lavender Town Syndrome thing. But I guess I'm not gonna have to spoil that one, so you can look it up even. Look at the uppy! Look at the uppity!
On number 11, I've placed Smile Dog. To be honest, not really for the creepypasta itself, because, well, it's not really that good of a creepypasta. I don't know if you know something about it, but it's just about a picture of a husky with like a teethy smile, which is kind of disturbing, actually. And you have to spread the word. But if you don't, the picture will, well, the husky will turn in like a demonic red dog-like creature, I guess. It's a best way to describe it. Like I said, the story itself isn't why it's on number 11. It's because, like, I guess 2 years ago or something, a friend of mine tried to Photoshop a picture of it, of I think the second Smile Dog picture, like the demonic one. And when he like put an effect on it that he used a lot, so he knew what it had to do, it didn't do anything except for make the picture entirely white. Yeah, it got corrupted somehow. And thus
he destroyed the Smile Dog forever.
He's a hero! Everyone should know his name! His name is Bleep!
Bleep Bleeperson!
Bleep Bleeperson, everybody!
Give him a hand! So at my number 11 spot we find the strangest security tape I've ever seen! And I never really saw it, so the title is a lie. Fuck you. So what is it about? It's about some kind of, was it a gas station? It was some kind of store thingy. And there was some new guy started to work there. And his name was Jeremy. No, it wasn't Ron Jeremy. And it wasn't it's not because it was a sex tape that it's the strangest tape he's ever seen. Well, it goes on about things disappearing and they kind of think, well, Jeremy did it. And they want to, like, see the tape. And then, spoilers, what they found out eventually, because I don't want to give away everything, but here's a spoiler, it turns out that they're stuck in a time loop somehow. Ooh. So they actually found out that Jeremy has some time-altering powers. And thus begins the time loop for them, because they're stuck in it. The reason that it's this low on the list is because, well, it's not as scary as say like the time loop in Higurashi, where like that's an anime, not a creepypasta, but there you have this girl that's stuck in the time loop, and well, she's conscious, she knows that there's a time loop. That's even scarier, that you have to relive and relive it, and you know that. This guy is unaware that he's stuck in a time loop. So yeah, it's a little less scary, but still scary.
On number 10 I've placed normal porn for normal people. So the creepypasta is about a website called normalpornfornormalpeople.com, and it has a tagline, I don't remember it fully, but it's like for the eradication of abnormal sexuality, which is kinda ironic if you read about the videos that were on that website. One of the videos was incredibly gory, and yeah, just a website with disturbing videos that aren't normal. It's on number 10 because I don't find it creepy in any way or scary. It's just disturbing, kinda, but it's interesting to read for some reason.
At my number 10, I've placed a creepypasta called Funny Mouth. There's this creepypasta is actually about somebody in, was it like a chat room type of thing he was in, and he followed some random person that popped in to another chat room and blah blah blah, and they started talking, and he did like random things. He posted like this kind of this way of looking at someone into like the text emoji thing. So it was kind of a creepy person, and they talked a bit, but that person kept being creepy, so he thought nothing of it and went away. Then that person popped in again, and he received emails from him and stuff, and eventually it drove him like kind of crazy, because due to a dream he had, he like ripped off his like jaw and had like his mouth hanging out, his tongue hanging out or something. And then, spoilers, he started doing the same thing. He became that funny mouth guy. Yeah.
On number 9, I've placed Candle Cove. This creepypasta is really interesting because it's written like it's a post on a forum with like different people replying to it. So yeah, they're just reminiscing about a show they had on their local TV channel. They're just like, damn, the show was actually kinda creepy and not for children at all. Like with a villain named the Skin Taker, who would grind skin with his teeth. Well, he said it. They didn't show it, but he said that somewhere. Apparently, there's just a great twist in the end of it, and I'm not gonna spoil it for you.
My number 9 is Abandoned by Disney and random Disney creepypastas like Room Zero, perhaps. Why? Well, I bundled them together because they tried to include each other, like they all happen in the same universe, like if it would be a comic, like, you know, that type of stuff. So, it's about somebody going through an old abandoned Disney theme park, and there he finds creepy stuff. Like kind of like negative toned Mickey Mouse costume that is like moldy and stuff, and it like rips off its head, and it like reveals that there was a person inside that also ripped off its head while ripping off the Mickey head. So that's kind of disturbing by itself. And there was something about abandoned by God or something in there also. Why am I being vague? Because I want to be vague. Then there's Room Zero, where they show you, where it's written like more of an observation of stuff happening. That makes it cool. It's like somebody writing down stuff that happens, like creepy stuff involving Disney, like people with Disney themed gas masks showing up, and all that kind of random stuff. And then there is the Room Zero itself. I don't really have to spoil these creepypastas by themselves, so I suggest if you want to, just look up Disney creepypastas and like check out the Disney creepypasta universe. It's cool.
Number 8 on my list is Ben Drowned. I think it's the very first creepypasta I've ever heard of. It's about someone buying a cartridge from Majora's Mask from an old man somewhere, and instead of like the actual design on it, it's just a cartridge with, I think, just Majora in black marker, so you know it's good. There are just some weird things happening in the game when he plays it, like a statue appearing sometimes and Link breaking his spine and standing like this. If I'm correct, it was the first haunted game creepypasta. I didn't really explain much about it, just know it's about someone named Ben who drowned, and now he haunts the cartridge. Oh, it's just very well written, and the fact that they have like videos to go with it just makes it better.
At my number 8 spot, I've placed a creepypasta simply known as Tea. So what is it about? It's about 4 people living together, kind of, and like in the end it's revealed that one of them is fucking crazy, and I have to kind of spoil it because this is one of those I can't really explain without spoiling it. So at one point a girl that lives with them is missing. The author decided to look on a friend's computer, to keep it short, and then he saw, or she saw, a disturbing picture that was like this. With like teeth misplaced in the mouth and stuff, and it had like a red hue. So they found, eventually they find their friend Lily, who lies there like she's dead, and like they see that there's like black wax in her eyes and in her mouth, and then yeah, deep in her throat, not in front, but they see it in her mouth, and then they see that her teeth have been like removed and have switched places and stuff, and there's like additional teeth as well, and it's like this, and then they see that it's actually the same position as in the picture, and then they also notice that it's actually, the picture was their friend Lily. And then some more stuff happens. There's also an additional twist actually. Yeah. So I suggest reading that because we don't have to spoil it.
Number 7 on my list. You've heard it before. It's Funny Mouth. He kinda said a lot about it already. He had a few details wrong. Like, in his dream, like, there were like fingers that unhinged his jaw.
Or dislocated.
Or dislocated, yeah, that's also a word. He woke up and it was like that, but he didn't really say anything about that until he was in front of the mirror. The guy that had the dream and stuff and talked to that weird, creepy guy called Funny Mouth. He was the owner of a website called refursales.com. And, well, got an email that his site was down by one of his colleagues or something. But then he got redirected to another website with like this picture. And the cool thing about it is, if you go to the actual website refursales.com, you see like a kind of a website under maintenance or something like that. I don't remember what it said exactly. With a guy holding a wheelbarrow. Yeah. Wheelbarrow, not a wheelbarrow. And if you look at the guy who's holding it, you see like that his jaw is hanging down and like his tongue, which is obviously, well, what you read in the creepypasta. And then when you click on the wheelbarrow, you get redirected to a page with a Funny Mouth picture. That's kinda awesome.
My number 7 spot, I've placed, well, the creepypasta called Portraits. It's kind of a simple creepypasta. It's about a hunter in a cabin, and he sees like weird portraits that kind of weird him out to some extent. And there's a twist, which I'm gonna have to tell you because otherwise it's not. This explanation is kind of dumb. It turns out that those aren't really portraits. You can see like people standing there. So for some reason people were standing still all of the time or something. It's kind of weird. And it just ends with that twist. And you might say, that's stupid, nothing really happened, but there's something I like about some of the creepypastas is sometimes they end after such a twist where you get like, where you get your own twisted mind to decide what happens to him. I like to think that like these people also have axes and they come after him and chop him up and eat him. Yeah, that's why it's creepy to me. Or maybe chainsaws, I don't know. Maybe they come busting through, like, and they like chop him up and eat him, like make him into soup. And maybe they serve the soup to the next guy who comes in there. Through the port. No, that doesn't really make sense.
On number 6, I've placed Faulty Wiring. It's a creepypasta about being watched all the time. Fuck, I think I'm gonna have to spoil this to make it sound interesting. It's about someone who's living in a house. His stuff, like some of his stuff suddenly disappears. His electricity starts acting up or something. He called someone to check his electricity. And they find like cameras hidden in old pictures that he rarely looks at or something. Or cracks in the walls and other places. He decides to move out of his house, obviously. And meanwhile, looking for a new house, he moved in with his mother. And then one day he gets a box at his doorstep in front of his mother's house. And like the stuff that's been disappearing from his house is in there. And also a piece of paper with written on it, "I like your new place so much better. Ugh. Moving can't help you."
With my number 6 we have another one-word creepypasta. For some reason I have a lot of those. This one is called Stairs. It's not about evil stairs who eat people. This creepypasta is about an old lady. And she calls the cops. because her her housekeeper or like her, however you call those people who like do the housekeeping but also take care of the old people. Yeah, that kind of people. Well, she fell down the stairs and she's kind of dead now. And so the cop shows up. For some reason only one cop shows up. I don't know of a place where that happens, but hey, cops mostly travel in pairs here, so I don't know. He like goes up there and he sees like the old lady standing on top of this, well, standing, what the fuck. She sees the old lady's wheelchair with the old lady in there atop the stairs. He goes up there and he asks if he can look around. She very reluctantly allows him to look around. He watches, he like goes through all the rooms and doesn't really find anything. Then he goes to the final room, which is the bedroom, and then a feeling of dread befalls him. He's like, what? You instantly also get that like something spooked him, but they don't tell you what immediately. Then after that, like after they describe the feeling, and here comes a spoiler, they reveal to you his line of thinking, and that is that there's no phone on, well, on the second floor. So how could this old lady have called him? When he goes back, he sees an empty wheelchair. Now, you might... this is where it ends. And you might think, well, oh, it ends nowhere, but here's the thing. It also, again, leaves your mind to wander. You could think like maybe she was a ghost and now she's gone, which is stupid. But the scarier thing is, they said that her husband had died earlier in the creepypasta. And now you see perhaps this woman can still walk. Maybe that's what happened. Maybe she stood up and pushed her caretaker down the stairs. Maybe she even killed her husband. Maybe she's getting an axe to kill the cop. And maybe she's gonna eat them. Why does it always end like that?
On number 5, I've placed The Rake. It's a creepypasta about a creature called The Rake. And it's like a humanoid slash dog-like creature with insanely long, sharp claws.
Hey, Metal! You know,
I was explaining stuff.
yeah, but you might forget that there are alternative stories about the Rake, but go ahead. Also meaning that my number 5 is also the Rake. Who knew? Not even me.
Like, I know there are like, the one creepypasta about the Rake has like different people talking about the Rake.
Yeah, that has different people talking about
like,
the Rake, but...
a report about him being seen in the forest somewhere.
yeah.
And like, the one that I found the most creepy was about a family, like a woman waking up, her husband seemed spooked at something, like, and she looks at the end of the bed, and she saw the Rake standing there, and it leaves the room, and she realizes the Rake is heading towards their daughter's room, and well, she basically sees the Rake killing her daughter. All her daughter's last words were, "He is the Rake." I think that's the creepiest creepypasta I've read, because like every time I was laying in bed, I was like, so is something there? Is the Rake here to kill me? Yeah.
But then there are some alternative versions of the Rake. For some reason, there have been people who wrote stories about the Rake actually being like a pet to Slender Man, but that's like a toned down version of the Rake, because that Rake just stalks people but does nothing. And it doesn't really insistently stalk them, it just follows them around out of curiosity. And if a person were to be violent against the Rake, they would get killed. Because it has like a big mouth with like super loud... yeah, it has like... in that story it had like... what was it? Like... it doesn't really have a big mouth by itself, but it could like make his mouth super huge, and there were a lot of teeth in there. And he also has a lot of claws. And then there was another story saying that the Rake doesn't really go after people, but it's, for some reason it goes into people's houses and tries to get them to leave their houses or something. But yeah, that was the Rake.
On my number 4 spot is Tulpa. It's a creepypasta about someone being part of a psychological experiment by creating like an imaginary friend, a tulpa. That's apparently what an imaginary friend is, and just like try to maintain the imaginary friend's presence as long as you can without being distracted by something else or something. The guy was able to do that, but then again his tulpa turns quite sinister. It can make him do stuff against his will. It goes as far as that the tulpa can't leave anymore. It's there forever. Like every time he wants to forget about or erase the tulpa, he gets more and more violent. You can read it for yourself.
So at my number 4, I've placed the Russian sleep experiment, and it's some people's favorite creepypasta. But then again, well, the experiment by itself is kind of dumb. Like, it's only scary if you would partake in it or something, or if you would be somebody who does the research, but I would want to be neither in such a stupid experiment. But then again, the results are kind of scary, so that's why it's on this list. Well, what you have is like, it's in Russia. So, I don't know. It's evil Russians again, so some American wrote this story apparently. And what you have is like, people get some sort of thing injected into their body that, well, it disables them from sleeping. So they're awake and awake and awake and awake. They've been awake for some time, and then they start going crazy and they start, well, weird stuff happens, like they eat each other, they look really weird and deformed, and they murder one of the, or multiple actually, of the, what was it, guards or something? And scientists? And then you have, like, in the end, it gives you like a creepy twist about what these things that were once human have become. It kind of leaves on an open end as well, so the twist, I don't really have to explain it here, but it's kind of an open-ended twist, but it really alludes to something sinister, so you could interpret it yourself.
On number 3, I've placed SCP. SCP stands for Secure, Contain, Protect. What do? Well,
those things!
Yeah, like they contain weird creatures that they don't have an explanation for yet or something, or could be really dangerous. Well, you have different classes, like Safe, Euclid and Keter. I'm gonna end the thing about SCP with an example of the first one, like the original SCP, SCP-173, the weird statue-like thing that doesn't move when you look at it, or when several people are looking at it. But when no one is, if there is a time when no one is looking at it, or everyone blinks at the same time, it moves towards you, and it breaks your neck if it gets a chance.
My number 3 is called Psychosis, and the problem is I'm gonna have to spoil it, but it's too good to spoil, so I'm gonna try being vague I'm gonna try explain what it is and being vague. I've done that with the other ones. The cool thing is that it started out with somebody who kinda is said to have like a psychosis. He like views reality in a way that isn't true, but then of course there has to be a turn. And the cool thing is that this creepypasta doesn't really end. And it ends in sort of like a cool position where you have like an us versus them scenario or a me versus them scenario, and they've reached like a deadlock. Neither he or them are in a position that they can't win. It's like an endless battle that can keep on continuing until that person dies, perhaps. So yeah.
And my number 2 is, you've heard it before, the strangest security tape I've ever seen. I don't really know what else I can say about it, because he pretty much said everything. You have the time loop he talked about. I really like the ending of the creepypasta.
I'm so happy! Oh! That was the random Tiny Tim, but we're at my number 2. And it has something to do with the Tiny Tim, but hear me out. So, it's called The Harbinger Experiment. What's it about? Well, it's about the author, who's kind of like somebody who's low on cash, and he gets like asked to be in some kind of experiment. I don't know, remember how he comes across the experiment, but that's not really important to the story itself, is it? And there you have a scientist called Dr. Zimmerman, which doesn't mean like room guy or something if you... Zimmer, that's like room in German, but that's beside the point. So, it's a guy that's... The doctor is kind of into some occult stuff, and... Well, you have an experiment where you have these 3 test subjects being put into rooms. And, well, they will be filmed like constantly. Then you have like Zimmerman who speaks another worldly language, and that makes something happen, like the cameras go out. And once one of the cameras comes back on, there's like a creepy thing standing there watching the camera. And that's where it kind of stops then, for a moment. And then you have another camera goes back on, and there you have like one. Is it the same or another creature? It's not really fully explained, is it? The thing is, the people have disappeared, so well, it leaves some open ends, because what happened to the people? Were they replaced with the creatures that came from another dimension or something? Or did these people become those creatures? That's something you will never know, even if you read the creepypasta. But the second monster starts killing the security guys, and then eventually they kill it. And after that, music starts, like Tiny Tim's song. Is it called Living in Sunlight? Or?
I think so.
And it starts playing, and it becomes like unbearably loud. And that's when this monster starts killing people, like the first one. And that's when the guy who writes the story like escapes, and he closes the lid, which is in a remote place, like the lab was underground in a remote place, like, was it Alaska or something, somewhere very cold. He closes it, he goes back to his house. But why did he write this? Well, and here's a spoiler, and I can't really stop there. I have to give the spoiler for it to be an appealing story. So, turns out while he was writing this down, he heard like the song Living in the Sunlight playing outside. Yeah, and he was the only one who knew about the story.
The number 1 creepypasta on my list is, you've heard it before, Psychosis. Yeah, Trolombo vaguely described it already. Like, basically, it's about a guy who's been in his own apartment building for a long time working on a programming project. He realizes that he hasn't seen anyone, like a real person, face to face in a long time. He gets very suspicious and paranoid, and he thinks that the people aren't people, well, aren't the ones he knew. I think they're just like copies, and trying to make him believe that they really are the people he knew. Let's just say it has a big twist ending, and I think it's the greatest twist I've ever read in a creepypasta.
Well, my number 1 spot is drum roll, egg roll, some kind of other roll. No, my number 1 is SCP. Yes, you've heard that before, but here's some additional explanation from me why I put it on number 1. Why did I put it on number 1? Well, because you heard like Metal talking about one SCP, but there's like a shitload of SCPs out there. The cool thing about the SCP is that it brings the entire creepypasta universe together. Because the ones that are written down in like SCP files, because SCP, to write one down, it's a very particular style, and to get a creepypasta to be an SCP creepypasta, you have to write it in that exact manner. But you could say that all of the other stories are like witness accounts that haven't been captured yet. So you could say that the SCP, you could watch at it from two angles. Either it's something that could save humanity, like getting all the creepypasta stuff, all the monsters that are out there, getting them, securing them, containing them, protecting them. Or that it's an accident waiting to happen when everything that's in there just gets away. Yeah, not everything, because it has multiple locations and that's either great or bad, meaning that shit has spread across the world and that there's dangerous stuff all over the world. Yeah, so that's something. And the thing is, well, there's a lot of stuff in there, like, I don't know the SCP number anymore, but there's like a room filled with pipes that like change and that are kind of living, and there's like different liquids in them. That's a creepy thing, and it kind of kills people when they go into that big ass room. Yeah, so it's kind of weird. You have living piping, that's something weird by itself. And those are things that can't be moved, so that's why there are multiple locations. So it's kind of strange and creepy by itself, but then again, you know, well, those locations are heavily protected, so some person stumbling upon an SCP ground, yeah, that's highly unlikely. So it is creepy, but it's kind of like hopeful at the same time, and it's open-ended because so many additions can be made to the SCP database, so that's why it's my number one. We don't really have that much to say, except if you want to make another suggestion for a video, you can do that now in the comment section below. Anything, any old thing you want. If it's something we can do, we'll do it. And we'll catch you in the next video.
Thanks for watching our video. Did you like that video? Don't forget to like it if you like it. And if you don't like it as well. Leave a comment and share the video with your friends. Don't forget to subscribe and be real, Lolzosaurus. See you in the next video.